Hey folks, how you doing? This is Jason Root, and today in our Principles of Training series, we're going to be going over microdosing. And this is an article I wrote a little while back, and let's go over this principle. So, what is microdosing? Microdosing in relationship to a pharmaceutical, environmental, or other physiological demand is to, instead of using the dose that might be usually prescribed, use a smaller dose with more frequent bouts of the intervention to achieve a more cumulative effect. So, you might, if you were, working out, once once a day for an hour, now you might be working out 3 times a day for 10 minutes or something like that. Frequency. So we're focused on frequency when we do microdosing. In training, commonly the training bout decided on for some obscure reason was 1 hour. For some reason, we all work out for an hour. Was this because that is how personal trainers were able to charge? Is it because that is the amount of time most people could fit into their schedule? For many, the physiological demand of a tough training bout lost its impact after that time, meaning that somebody was training, sometime around 45 minutes to an hour. They just weren't really able to get as much out of anything after that. So we asked the question, what about less time? So examples of microdosed workouts come from a strength trainer I like quite a bit, named Pavel Tsatsouline, with his kettlebell routines. He's the guy who brought over the kettlebell from Russia. And they encourage very short but powerful bouts of swings. We have what's called Tabata, which is more in the cardiovascular spectrum. And these are workouts with high cardiac output in short periods of time, or sometimes just athletic stretching that's done throughout the day. If you're doing it in the morning, afternoon, and evening, then that would be considered microdosing your mobility. Injury prevention workouts come from NFL strength coaches encouraging certain activities to be done very frequently to keep the body neuromuscularly prepped to prevent injury. Now, this is correlated with travel, things of that nature. If you get on a plane and you're on a plane for a long period of time, there's a long period of time that you're not getting stimulation to your body in the way that it needs to be stimulated in order to perform for tasks of daily living or for some athletic event. And so you're going to want to, whether you're in a plane or you're in a car or whether you're sitting at your desk. So you might microdose in order to mitigate the negative impact of that period of time spent in a position that might not be working well for your physiology. So why? The benefits of microdosing are many. You get time to fully recover between sets, developing better neuromuscular patterns of overcompensation, the training response. So if everybody isn't familiar with this particular concept, basically you get a training response, your body starts here, you get a training response, and your body kind of drops down a little bit because of the training response, but then healing, it overcompensates, and then now your body is changed its state up to this. So you keep on doing that and it goes higher and higher and higher. But that recovery time is what provides that training response. So if we have a longer recovery time, let's say that I'm doing something like a deadlift. I might do a deadlift set in the morning, I do a deadlift set in the afternoon, and I do a deadlift set in the evening. Instead of doing it all, 2 minutes apart, I might get a better compensation pattern going from that. Better recovery. For many, microdosing fits into the schedule better. So it's easier to have, it might be easier for a person to have 3 bouts of 2 minutes than it is to have, 1 bout of, half an hour or something like that. Or I'm sorry, 3 bouts of maybe 10 minutes if we're going to make the time equal. There may be less stress trying to carve out a half an hour to get to the gym So, that might be a thing. From our paleo perspective, microdosing mimics normal demands on human physiology better. So, our caveman ancestors were likely only microdosing. They'd have to go out and, they'd have activity in short bouts determined not by any sort of training pattern, but as nature dictated. So I particularly like microdosing for mobility throughout the day. This mimics cats and dogs. You ever see your cat or a dog get up after taking a nap? They do that big old stretch. And they usually do it both ways. And it keeps your body open and free as opposed to a single workout with long periods of sitting in between. Also, I'm fidgety, so I have to get up every 5 minutes anyway. So I'm microdosing kind of haphazardly anyhow. The way I design my clients' routine is that each routine is really about 4 to 5 different short training bouts built upon each other. So even if you do those training bouts in 1 hour or 45 minutes, there are 5 to 10 minutes and another 5 to 10 minutes and another 5 to 10 minutes with sort of a thought process break in between those. But they're designed to be done in whatever order one decides, as long as the tasks are completed. So it's more cumulative based upon the tasks and the demand that those tasks have on your body, rather than having to have, continued, a whole hour at one time or something like that. So they may choose to microdose them throughout the day. So you might choose that if you have a 45-minute workout period, you might do your, 10 minutes at one time, 10 minutes another, 10 minutes another, morning, later on, afternoon, evening, something like that. So we also have very short routines to do when needed, like our 2-minute neck shoulder fix. So I just posted a video on how to fix, how to address, I should say. I don't want to promise that it'll fix anything, but how to mitigate and address neck and shoulder pain in just 2 minutes at a time throughout the day when you feel, everything getting a little tight up here. So you can see that on this YouTube channel as well. So anyway, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed today's Principles of Training episode, and hope it was useful to you. Thank you.